Good morning, everybody out there in Wildcat Nation. Thanks once again for joining us on the Morning Waffle right here in beautiful Jamestown Center, down from Storytime Church. Storytime Coffee. That's what I meant to say.
I have to mentally correct myself of that all the time.
It happens on the daily.
Yeah, I'll bet it does.
Yep. It's all good. Good morning, Raj.
Who came up with those confusing names anyway?
We'll find that guy.
Who did that?
We'll hunt him down.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's handsome.
I bet he's got good hair.
He's got great
and
hair.
OCD.
Who, me?
Huh? What?
Only with my sock drawer.
Oh, man.
That's weird.
Yeah, it is weird, but that's my thing. Have we talked about this before?
I don't think so.
Yeah, so I mean, you go to my desk, you go to my office, it's a mess. My room is a mess. My office, my truck is a mess. But the one area of my life that I can keep neat and clean and makes me sane is my sock drawer. So
really?
if my socks are not put in my drawer neatly, then I know my life is in utter chaos.
That's a weird what's happening here in my microphone.
Right here.
Tighten it for me. I'm technology inept and short and I can't do things.
I don't like it that way.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Good morning, Beth. Thanks for watching the Waffle.
Sock drawer
while you're
is the
camping.
thing.
Beth is camping?
She's camping and still watching the Waffle.
We need to do something for Beth. She is clearly our biggest fan.
We have one dedicated fan.
I think we owe her a picture of the wildflowers.
Have we not done that, Tom Baker?
I don't know. Last time maybe he has.
Beth, did you get your picture from Tom?
I don't think she has.
It's coming.
It's coming.
I'm still rearranging things
maybe it
from
did. I don't know.
The boys that were in here.
The boys.
The fellas.
The guys.
Yeah. So what's going on?
I don't know. It's been whirlwind. Happy Father's Day to you guys.
Oh, thank you.
You guys.
Yeah. It was a combo day for me. It was 23rd anniversary and Father's Day on Sunday.
Boom. Happy to both.
Yeah, thanks.
And you guys were on a trip.
Yeah. We took that was a whirlwind. We drove to Virginia in 2 days, spent 2 days at Liberty University, and drove back in 2 days.
That must have been a scouting trip.
Isn't Virginia a drive?
Yeah, it was 15 hours.
One or both, or
both boys. Sage was more interested in it than Rylan. Rylan was like, I don't want to be that far away from home. Okay. Sage is like, if it's a D1 school and they want me to come play, I'm going. Okay. So who knows if that materializes? Yeah. But I will tell you this: they both left saying, wow, that cool. Campus, that school, they were all in. I didn't expect them to say this, but they were even thinking, well, maybe if I just don't play soccer and just go here, I could really enjoy my time.
Beth has not gotten
blew my mind
yet from Tom.
We'll get
Baker.
that for you, Beth.
All right, Beth, it's coming. Right, Tom? Right, Tom?
Tom's like, I'm not watching, I'm busy.
So
Tom was busy this morning. That's why he's not here.
I don't know if you know much about Liberty University.
I don't know anything about
Jerry
Liberty
Falwell.
University.
Well, that's the deal. So Jerry Falwell, it was his vision. And whatever your thoughts of him, I have mad respect for him, even if he was a little more political than I would prefer.
Sure.
There's a lot of jabs people like to take at him, and certainly gave them some material. But what a visionary. So think about this. So I'm going to turn 45 next week. This campus I'm a year older than this college.
Wow.
It's not an old college at all.
Right. And so if you think about, of course, I like to consider myself a visionary leader.
And you are.
But this guy, wow, to have a vision for a school to pop up like this in 44 years' time.
Yeah.
And everything is top rate. For you to already be D1 in all of your sports.
That's pretty amazing.
So the Performing Arts Hall, where the theater and music programs are, they're one of 2 buildings in the nation where they can hit a button and the ceilings and the walls adjust.
Holy crap!
To replicate any performing arts center, any hall, any music hall, opera hall in the world.
Wow.
Just to push the button and things just reconfigure. The AC units, they're completely silent. They picture like a silencer on a gun, an actual silencer.
There's a rattle in our air conditioner here. In this,
call the landlord.
Yeah, I thought I
hear
did.
you.
Oh, I guess you just did, didn't you? All right, I'll work on that.
Note it.
I'll call up Liberty and find out what compression system they have on their AC
I'm trying to
units.
watch Tombstone down in my office, and there's this little rattle in the air conditioning unit. It's ruining the experience.
I'm your Huckleberry.
It sounds like a loose screw.
Okay, well, that could be me. Maybe I walked in the room. No, anyway, so they have a mountain to ski on. This stuff called Snowflex, which is an artificial surface for skiing and snowboarding. And my daughter and I went tubing while we were there in the summer.
Oh, snap.
And there were two dudes snowboarding and like hitting the rails and going
And it's
down.
outside because the stuff doesn't melt. Is that, or is it inside?
No, it's outside. It's up on this mountain, and yeah, so it's just
That's
this artificial
epic.
turf. And of course, then when it snows, you can actually use it as snow. But unreal. Anyway, the whole campus was
That sounds pretty
it
amazing.
blew my mind. I want to send all three of my children there.
Just to be like,
forget
here, go to
soccer. Like
super cool.
just
do
go.
it.
Yeah,
Is it
Just do
is
it.
it still kind of a conservative Christian?
that's the deal. So
atmosphere?
yeah, I mean, we were looking for a Christian university, but a lot of universities say they're Christian, but they're one of the few that actually are still holding to a biblical worldview. Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
So
Learned
conservative,
something today.
trying to get away a little bit from being so embedded into the political
The
conservatism.
moral majority.
Yeah.
Yes. Follow past, and then his son took over. That was a debacle. But they've kind of moved past Jerry Jr.'s issues. We'll just leave it at that. But anyway, they're top notch in everything they do.
So
That's
I think
wonderful.
the image everybody has of Jerry Falwell, like in pop culture, is
Larry Flint.
Well, there was that, but no, it's the water slide. Do you remember the water slide?
I guess I don't.
Okay, you'll have to Google it or something. But and I could be wrong, but my recollection is they opened a theme park, like and there was
That is correct. I'm remembering.
and
this
there
now.
was a water slide,
Yeah.
like one of those like, and he went down it full suit and tie.
Yeah. Yep. Because
Yeah.
he was always wearing a full suit tie.
And so they've got this video of him, Jerry Falwell, full suit and tie, water flume. Yeah. But no, I think that was everybody makes mistakes, everybody's a sinner, it's all good, and whatever happens, you just need to repent, forgive, and move on. But I think
Amen,
that from
brother.
a political standpoint, the mistake, I think we can learn a lot because it was a political mistake that he made.
But all evangelicals in the 80s and 90s.
We
But
all
go
did.
ahead. But
We all did.
certainly
It was
Falwell.
that
He
moral-
led the charge.
That
all
moral,
random topics
I
on the
know.
waffle were on this.
the moral majority was
yeah,
a mistake.
It was a mistake.
because it was an attempt to legislate behavior
Correct.
through the government. And the reason it was a mistake
Yeah,
is because we're now reaping the whirlwind.
Well, and it's why liberals don't just hate the right,
Yeah.
but they've attached Christianity to the
Yeah.
right and have such a beef against
But
Christianity.
what we're
as a
now
whole.
seeing is it was actually the conservatives that said, no, we can use government to impose our worldview on everyone.
You're not supposed to do that.
And you're not supposed to do that. That's
No.
not what our country or republic
That's
is
not
about.
what the government's
but
about.
now, what are we doing? Well, the
Running
left
the other way.
is using that to say, oh, well, if we can use government to impose our worldview and make people think like us, then we're going to do that.
You nailed
we
it.
should
And
just get out
so
of it.
that's
Stay out
we
of it.
never should have went down that road. We did. We're reaping the whirlwind, and now we got to fight it. But
We're hoping and praying there will be a course correction at some point.
And then they went after the rock bands.
rant over.
Then they went after Twisted Sister. D. Snyder was like, we're not going to take it.
By the
We're
way,
not gonna take
that
it.
was Tipper Gore, a Democrat
yeah.
that led the charge.
I thought that was a Nancy Reagan charge.
No, that was Tipper Gore. Tipper Gore was the big.
Was it while Al was
after-
creating the internet?
Yes. Well, he
Yeah.
actually invented the internet several years prior to that.
and then
Oh, okay.
Tipper.
Yeah, but no, that was Tipper Gore. That was all.
I did
on
not
the,
know that was Tipper.
Nobody does, but yeah.
Well, you learned something that you didn't know on the Morning Waffle today.
Aren't you glad you
Education.
tuned
Oh,
in?
speaking of college and sports and things, I was at my parents' house yesterday, and somebody announced that the Supreme Court is going to allow college athletes to be paid.
Yep.
It's not
And my-
exactly what happened.
Yeah.
but
Okay,
close.
well, close. So my
Siding
brother
with the fact that athletes need to be compensated. better.
compensated. Okay, so my brother's been a university professor for a long time now, and he was just rattling off all million ways this could be a giant problem. But
Well, it's interesting because you've got the athlete, college guy, and you've got the lawyer, judge sitting on this end that both have probably followed this case.
Yeah.
So what
I
they
have mixed
did,
feelings on it for sure.
what they kept in the prohibition on direct payments. You can't pay the athletes directly.
Okay.
But what they did was, like, you know how, like, part of your scholarship package, if it's academic, they could give you like study abroad credit. They can pay for a computer. Those things were all prohibited by the NCAA. And the judge said, no, you can scholarship athletes the same way you scholarship everybody else. And so if you are scholarshiping a semester abroad, you can do that for athletes too.
Correct.
That's what they did.
Yep. So the athletes hands were a little tied on some things before.
Correct.
That others were getting, and now the Supreme Court has said you have to treat them all.
Yeah, and I believe it was an equal protection argument that prevailed.
That's such a slippery slope.
It's certainly a step in the pathway to get them paid.
Yeah.
It's just not there yet.
And I don't know how to even articulate how I feel about the situation. I feel like there's education and then there's athletics. And murking the two together like we have in the way that we have is really tricky.
It's complex. I mean, you think about football. There's not a minor league system like there is in baseball, or like there, and even in soccer to a lesser degree, a developmental academy. So it is their way to become pro. Yeah. And they're making tons of money off of these kids going to play college football.
Well, I'm trying to think it through, and I think I have less of a problem potentially with the payments and all of that, because I mean it's a business. I'm pro-business, whatever. I have probably less of a problem with that than the athletes that are taking classes and getting degrees.
Yeah.
And really not putting in the work, and they're walking out with the same degree as the guy that was there to get the degree.
Sure. What is it? Is it athletics or is it education?
Yeah, I mean, if you're there to be an athlete, you're getting paid to be an athlete, then don't bother taking class.
That's your degree.
One of the coaches,
I got a basketball degree.
One of the coaches makes $7 million.
Oh, yeah. It's big money. But the other side of this, I mean,
it's
the football and the basketball programs are the ones that fund everything.
Sure,
right?
absolutely.
So soccer's not raising that money. Softball's not raising that money. Even women's sports, even basketball, women's basketball is raising some, but not that kind of money.
Sure.
So then it becomes, all right, if you pay these football players, how do these other programs?
What about Larry, who plays lacrosse?
Right.
And the lacrosse team hasn't won any sort of recognition in 30 years. Like, what do you do with the lacrosse
Well,
players?
I mean, I think that to some point, being the advocate for capitalism this morning, which I'm happy to do, is
I'm right there with you.
I don't think anybody's.
But I mean, the argument then pushes over into say, well, yeah, but that's because we're always talking about why do you have women's studies degrees and human sexuality degrees and stuff like.
Too much cinnamon in that cinnamon cold latte.
I need a waffle. I need a waffle.
Have you ever seen somebody try to eat a spoonful of cinnamon?
You can't do it.
It's good fun. Back to my youth ministry days there. Hey, I can do it. Okay.
That was a challenge back in the day. That was a.
Don't try that at home. I just want to say.
But we're talking about the market value of different
Lawyer,
things.
can you make sure that everybody knows we're not responsible for anybody that tries to swallow a teaspoonful of cinnamon?
The opinions stated by any of us do not reflect K-ROG.
Stupid. Don't listen.
Really, they're uninformed and unresearched.
We are not professionals except for the fields that we are professionals.
Well put. Good lawyering.
Oh,
sorry, you've tried to start the sentence twice.
Go ahead. It's pointless, but we're paying people to get worthless degrees right now anyway, and so I think the argument. I mean, if lacrosse can't generate enough interest to support itself, maybe it should die.
No,
it needs to go away.
It needs to go away.
At least not be a part of the educational system.
I mean, on that note, guess who this is going to affect the most? Women's sports.
That's true.
It is, yeah.
There we go again.
But even that opens up. You've seen the comparisons of here's LeBron, here's what he makes, and here's this WNBA player and what she makes. That's not fair. And I'm like, well, the capitalist in me says it is fair because they're filling out, stadiums and
the argument I use for
that
that is female models make significantly more than male models.
Yeah.
So there you go.
But that's the whole supply and demand thing. So at the end of the day, I want the women athletes to make as much as the men athletes.
I do too.
So go to their games and buy the tickets and don't complain when they raise the prices on you.
Yep.
Exactly.
This is how it works.
Yeah, that's exactly how it works. Yeah, if you want to be, if you want that to be better compensated, then support it.
Show up.
Well,
support
and at the
it.
end
Buy
of
the
the
ticket.
day,
Buy the jersey.
There's no path to a fair world. There's no path to things being equal for everybody all of the time. It is absolutely impossible for that to happen.
And you know what that means? That means it is a fair world and it is equal because
you have an opportunity.
Because everybody has the opportunity.
That's true. Yeah.
And at some point you're at a disadvantage and at some point you're at an advantage.
Yep.
And you just need to find it.
You got to find it.
And this is what we do in debate when we define the terms. What is fair?
What's fair?
This is fair. This is the definition of
So
fair.
It's like a divorce case. And I never handle divorce cases because I don't want to.
I don't blame you.
And I'll be honest, I have a moral objection to handling a divorce.
That's fair.
But at any rate, people will ask me and say, well, no. I said, listen, the whole point of a divorce is to make sure that both people are equally unhappy. Because nobody's going to be happy.
Nobody's winning.
Because all we're doing is dealing with
true.
misery here. Mm-hmm. And so if anybody, if I was a divorce court judge, if anybody was happy with the decision I made, I'd know I got it wrong. Mm-hmm. Because all we're doing is splitting up the misery and the disaster.
I don't know. There are
here.
rare cases where divorces, two people leave happy because they're no longer together.
Well, I get that.
That part I understand.
Most people should never have gotten married in the first place.
But, and it's like when I was a prosecutor, if I made a plea offer to a defendant, if they quickly rejected it or quickly accepted it, I knew it was the wrong offer.
Yeah.
Generally speaking. But if they had to think about it, if it was a tough decision, I'm like, that was the right one.
That was the right one.
And we're hitting the sweet spot there because it should be a tough decision. So how'd we get there? I forget. Something about waffles.
Journey about more serious topics than we normally cover. This is better than 90s pop culture that we covered last week while Will was gone.
I was gone.
Was I gone? No, I was
No,
here.
you were totally here. We
You were here in person.
rambled on for 40 minutes about
I watched
90s
the whole
pop
show
culture.
because I was just sitting in the waiting room at the
You
hospital.
messages,
So,
because you were upset about,
I wasn't upset. You guys were just terrible.
Oh, 100%. We're awful.
But how about the fact that I finally changed our profile picture on
Hey, that was sweet. I appreciate you doing
Facebook
that.
to
Beth's got a
actual
comment for us.
K-ROG logo?
First, to put the pork and beans. Maybe there's still a chance I can get a degree. You've given me. Oh, there you go. Yeah, awesome, Beth.
That deserves a degree.
I would take that.
That's a culinary art right there.
I think you kind of convinced me that I want to go to Liberty. Liberty is it college or university?
University. Yeah.
I want to go to Liberty University.
I want to go because you just want to snowboard.
Yeah. No, I don't want to snowboard. That sounds
Every
awful.
once in a while, I think about
Sounds like
going
I hurt
and
my
getting
back.
another degree, and I'm like, no.
Well, it's funny because we took the tour and heard
I
the
got
spiel,
enough.
and then I introduced them to a professor friend of mine that's on campus there. And by the time it was over, I was like, I want to go back to college.
Can I come back to
Can I
school?
come back?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Think about it.
I
Just
got out of
think
school
about
as
it
quick
for
as I
another.
No, I know,
Yeah.
but
No, it sucks.
definitely want
It's
to.
awful.
Yeah.
I did.
It's
I got out
like
of
the
school
last
as
thing
quick
you
as
want
I
to be is
could.
Rodney Dangerfield, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that guy.
Going to college. What was the name of that movie?
I don't
Was it
know.
Old School? Wasn't Old School.
No,
No,
not
it wasn't
Old
old
School.
school. Old school was
was
actually
that?
funny.
Rodney Dangerfield movie where he goes back to college. Somebody name it.
It was so bad. Like
It
all
was
Rodney
bad, yeah.
Dangerfield movies.
He gets no respect.
No respect.
Hey, somebody tell us what movie that was.
I don't know.
I think it was Back to School. Wasn't it Back to School?
Maybe it was.
been.
It was Back to School,
Okay.
not Old School. Back to
Back to
School.
School.
Yep.
Old School was a Will Ferrell movie.
And
wasn't
it was funny.
Yes, correct.
Legitimately funny.
And it was funny.
I watched Talladega Nights again the other day.
Shake and bake.
Shake and bake, baby.
And I helped. Oh wait, that's
Coming at you like a spider monkey, Chet. That's my favorite line.
That's a good. It's also good.
I'm gonna come at you like a spider monkey.
Oh wow.
I'm gonna come at you like a spider monkey.
Hey, so I want to ask you, Lauren. Well, you went
Yeah.
to the meeting last night.
No, I did not.
No, you didn't. You
I
just
didn't
gave a
go.
report.
No, I didn't give a report.
You
I shared
shared-
Crystal's
yeah, she
report.
shared-
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, well,
Yeah,
I
I
should
shared-
read more carefully.
Crystal 4, Alderman of Ward 2, gives a report usually after every
She shared it
meeting.
on Rogers.
Yeah, I
Okay.
shared her post is how you thought it was me.
Okay, that's what it was.
Yeah,
You shared.
I shared Crystal's post when I saw it. And I try to share things that I think may not get shared that should be shared, if that makes sense.
Well, it's good. I mean, again, that's good information.
Yeah.
I hope people are paying attention to what's
So
going on.
it sounds like they've approved. I need to talk to everybody about it, but it sounds like they've approved a contractor to do the removal of gravel and addition of walking trail around the playground equipment and mulch it instead of gravel. So I'm really excited about that. That means that we've made another step in the right direction. And Friends of the Park last week after the 5K committed $13,000 to the project.
Nice.
So we will have Community Foundation of the Ozarks houses our Friends of the Park fund. So they will write a check of that amount to City of Rogersville, and those funds will go to help cover the cost of the park project because it's significantly more than that. I'm guessing.
RFOP, making it happen.
Yeah. Yep. So
I love it. And that's what I just enjoy that so much because this is not waiting on the city government to get it done. It's saying the citizens saying we're going to help you.
Yeah.
And so the work you guys do with Friends of the Park and obviously the 5K is a big part of it, but other things that you do throughout the year, it's phenomenal. It's the way it ought to be.
Just getting government out of things in general I'm a fan of.
Well, and I gotta give props to the city because, we've been raising funds for, I guess this is year 3 of events. I don't know. It's all a blur. But, and we came to them with pictures and an idea, but it wasn't just an idea of here's something that will look pretty. It was something that fixed functional problems with the park. And the city typically, when they do projects, try to be functional projects, not just beautification, pretty stuff. It's not their focus. Regardless if you think it should or shouldn't be, but they really like to see functional projects that they see the long-term, maybe lower maintenance type stuff. Mm-hmm. So we presented them with an idea of, hey, we came up with this idea. What do you guys think? They were like, we like it. Let's get our city engineer to kind of come up with a design. They did that, and then we sent it out for bid. The first round of bidding did not go well. RFP is what those bids are. Somebody asked that question on Facebook last night.
Request for proposal.
There you go.
RFP.
And so
I thought it was reinforced fiberglass panel.
That too.
That's FRP, sorry.
Yeah. And so now here we are, and it sounds like we've got a bid that the city was good with, because at the end of the day, they're putting up the majority of the money for this project. But that's how these things are supposed to work. You're supposed to work together with the community members, and if somebody wants to pony up some money, it's going to be big.
Bigly.
It's going to be great. It's going to change the look of the park over there. We're not going to have new equipment, so don't expect that. That stuff's very expensive, but it will change the whole look and function. And I think it'll be great because you can be walking the perimeter of the playground equipment and be keeping an eye on your kids and getting exercise too. So that's awesome.
Love it.
Yeah,
that's good. Hey, speaking of, one of the points that was on there was the RFP for a city planner, right? Like an
economic developer.
Economic developer. That's it.
That's been. I'll be careful talking about this because I don't want anybody to think that I'm overstepping any bounds or anything. But there was some requests a while back for some money that was available, I guess, to be used. A limited amount of money, not a full salary type amount of money,
right,
was available to be used for potentially an economic developer position. And I think there's some debate between people if they think that money will even cover someone to do that job. And this would be it's a level of pay that would be more like a consultant type position.
Correct.
And I think the trouble is finding anybody that would fit that desire to consult for X amount of time for that price.
Yeah, and so that's why I bring it up. I had an interesting conversation with a friend the other day that said he had heard of small communities like Rogersville size that got together with other small communities in their area and hired together.
That's an interesting idea.
I thought, now that's brilliant, because I know the dollars set aside are not enough to get a quality candidate.
Full-time candidate. Yeah. I think part-time is possible, but it's like, putting it out to the cosmos and finding that right person who may live wherever that would be willing to do that.
Well, you're probably finding a young person right out of college that goes, ooh, this is something I want to do. And they can try to piece together a number of these and maybe make some money off of it. But it's not going to pay the bills for you. So that got me thinking when I was talking to this friend, and he was like, really? Imagine if we got Rogersville and Sparta and Fordland, and we're Seymour. Right here in this triangle, and just said, hey, let's hire somebody.
Diggins.
Well, Diggins
the
too.
Village of Diggins.
Don't be jumping over Diggins.
Brought to you by the Village of Diggins.
My bad. Sure. Anyway, I'm gonna not say what I just thought. But I love that idea. Now we're thinking out of the box and saying, all right, let's, or as Churchill would say, corkscrew thinking, not straight line thinking. Let's think of ways to work around a problem. Because, we need an economic developer in this town, and I would love to see that happen.
We need someone who has experience with developing communities.
Especially small ones like ours that are growing.
That have very specific problems, because every community has problems.
They're all different, too.
They're all different. Challenges. Well, like in Seymour right now.
Opportunities
my
present
buddy,
themselves.
Terry Penner over in Seymour.
Seymour.
That's
Seymour.
Terry
And
Penner.
Zener is a real place.
Yeah. They're doing some interesting stuff over
It's over
there.
where I live.
Over in your neck of the
Zener?
woods.
Zener.
Zenar. Zener.
Oh, yeah.
Zener.
I've seen that sign.
Yeah, Zener.
But like Seymour's got they're having meetings over there, I think once a month or something with business owners and stuff in the community. They've started a farmer's market. Terry was hired a position for the city that's like a part-time position that's got an hourly wage where she calls herself the community cheerleader, and I can't remember her title, but her goal in essence is to help with events, promote the community betterment. That's the goal.
Yeah. And that's us at K-ROG, right? I mean,
That's
what we
that's
do.
the goal.
Community cheerleaders, spirit fingers.
Spirit fingers.
Will's like, I'm not doing it.
Spirit
I was
fingers.
a cheerleader for 15 years. And really,
I don't know I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with my hands. But anyway, I don't know who I need to talk to about that idea. I should have gone
I
to
think
the
that's a good
council
idea.
meeting.
You went
last
back to
night.
Talladega Nights.
Yeah, I don't know what to do.
I
don't know what to do with my
bad.
I don't know. You're the one that planted that seed. I didn't even realize that's exactly what that was.
And when I was not sleeping last night, I was
You
thinking,
don't watch K-ROG? No.
I was thinking that I need to get somebody from the police department on here and ask them a couple questions about 4th of July laws and Rogers.
Speaking of, they're supposed to be on here.
I know. We're going to do that follow-up after this.
Okay.
We're going to make a phone call.
We're making a phone
We're
call.
gonna make it happen. Shake and bake.
Answer your phone.
Shake and bake, baby.
Answer your phone.
In this town, we call the police. We just don't call you. I don't know what that means.
I don't know either. Let's go with it.
I don't know
Yeah.
either.
We're calling.
But that popped in my head last night. Like, we need to have that person on and talk
Yeah.
about those things.
Yes.
Cliffhanger.
The weeds.
Yeah, because I don't even know.
Weeds. Well, because there's a lot of misguided rules, I think, or misguided conceptions of understandings of the 4th of July fireworks
When
laws.
you can, where you can.
Yep.
Yep. I'm sure they get a phone call or two about those things.
I think it's the bane of their
Something I
existence.
think we need to find out, since I said weeds,
Yep.
I am interested to know, this is corkscrew thinking, by the way,
Okay.
if a municipality can supersede state law and prohibit dispensaries within their city limits. I don't know. I don't know if that's legal or not.
I don't know either.
I don't know.
But
I haven't gotten into the weeds.
I'm gonna
weeds.
I'm going to endeavor to find out because I'd kind of be in favor of that. I
Yeah, I
think.
kind of don't want a dispensary.
Kind of don't want a
here.
dispensary in town.
I don't care
I'm cool with
necessarily
not.
if they one of them Springfield
They
places.
can go up to the People's Republic of Springfield.
In
and
Ozark,
get
there's one
their-
right next to a donut shop, and I mean that makes
That
perfect
was-
sense.
But I
Donut
thought,
shop was good.
I thought you
thinking.
said we weren't going to legislate morality. Will?
Yeah, well,
well.
but we can do what we want in our own town.
Okay, local level.
Local level.
All right, gotcha.
Federalism.
Fair.
It's an interesting thought.
Because you can go to Springburg and buy your weed.
Yeah.
Does the city the city would have to issue you a business license to open business?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how that works.
It's probably not going to come up anyway because there's a limited number of state licenses
And it's really expensive to get those.
and they're gone, and you'd have to decide that Rogersville was
gone.
the right.
Yeah.
I think they.
Oh,
really?
that was the biggest racket ever.
Wow.
If you read about that when it happened, people spent it was like $50,000 was the license application fee. Is that right,
Wow.
Will? I'm looking
What
at
are-
you
that
there.
is a
Well,
racket.
I don't know, but people were spending. They were like hiring consultants on how to
Yes.
get it, and then it was sort of this committee just sort of like picked,
Just
picked.
we'll pick you.
and they didn't
Pick you.
really know what the criteria was.
No, they just picked people and people like lost tens of thousands of dollars if they didn't get picked for a license.
It was rife for corruption.
Oh, 100%. It was like reading a doctoral thesis on potential corruption. and that is the point right there where the whole marijuana laws things lost all. I didn't really have respect for the situation before, but it completely lost all. I'm like, well, this is strictly political and designed as a money grab for people.
Imagine that.
Not medical.
You either here's where I stand in a general perspective. You should either allow something or not allow something.
Yep.
But anytime you introduce government regulation, you open the door to corruption and manipulation and unfair practices and advantage. And so that's it's where my free market comes in. And I'm frankly not that opposed to legalizing drugs from a libertarian standpoint. From a political standpoint, I'm not really that opposed to it because Why not?
Because this is where your evolutionary leanings start to come into play, right?
Well, yeah,
the Darwin Awards. And
exactly. What I am opposed though is then like you ruin your life on drugs, and then I have to pay for your health care. I'm not a fan of that.
That's the issue.
Fair.
Yeah,
and so I was like, that's where you're going to go.
I just think if it's medical, it's medical, and if it's not, it's not, and that's my opinion on it. And as soon as I read how that worked to get the licenses, and there was some sort of scoring system that was picked by people somewhere.
I'm sure it makes perfect sense.
And then the people who whatever applications that were grossly crazy expensive to get, they didn't tell them their scores or why they didn't get it. And they're just like, oh, Tony from wherever got his. And some of these were doctors and stuff that had worked for years on their facilities and were medical doctors and didn't get the licenses.
Wow.
Yeah. But I mean,
like I said, I did not get into the weeds.
The card that you've got to, get to go buy from dispensary, you have to get from a doctor.
Yeah.
Anybody can get them. I mean, and we all know that, right?
Kind of like the K-ROG press pass that you gave us all. Yeah.
No,
not
everybody.
Not everybody got one of those.
That's an exclusive.
But everybody could make one
if you've got the machine.
I happen to have a laminator.
Hey, that's not a laminator. That's a legit.
I know, it's a card thing.
It's even better, but no, I mean, like you go into the dispensary and they're like, oh yeah, call this number on that phone, and I mean they like fax over the, they do a little.
Why can't they do that to DMV? Like, oh, you don't have your property.
Because the DMV is not a for-profit organization.
Would you like some Funyuns with that?
Hey, I got a question for you. What gives the government the right to license your car and decide whether or not you can drive?
We're going down.
Hey-o.
Not a fan.
We all just stared in silence there for a second.
Think about it.
I have.
Why should they get to?
Just don't know if I want to sit here and talk about it.
Okay, that's fine. We don't have to.
Yeah, no, it's it's another.
It's
bracket.
A random topic.
Back in my day, there were only two genders, and we liked it that way.
Yeah.
We've just been on a roller coaster of politically charged topics. From the beginning.
Yeah, I had something pulled up on my phone, and I thought, should I read this and open this up? Anyway, and I was like, no, I'm not going to.
Better not. It's not worth it.
Not today. We'll try it. We'll try it another day. We'll try it maybe next week. Community events.
No first Friday.
No first Friday in July.
Because we're having fireworks at Rogersville.
Just too many other things going on in town. We didn't want to compete.
Next Saturday is the City of Rogersville fireworks parade and I don't know, Festivus at the park. 26th? 26th? I think it's 26th. I think the parade starts at 4.
Saturday before. It's always the Saturday before the holiday, right?
Yes, the weekend before.
Well, today's the 22nd.
Yeah, so it's this Saturday.
It's this Saturday?
It's this Saturday.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Right.
I'm preaching July 4th.
Is Fellowship doing
ready.
that?
Nope.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Interesting.
Nope, not going to do it this year.
So Rogersville's going to
We're going to do man camp.
Cool.
With Jace Robertson.
You going to do fireworks?
I don't know.
He just said no. Oh, at man camp.
Yeah, no,
we're going to have guns.
Yeah, different kind.
Pew, pew, pew.
Pew, pew. Cool. Blasters.
Cool
pew,
stuff.
Pew, pew.
Cool stuff.
So City of Rogersville, I think the parade lineup is at 4, and then there's stuff at the park at 5, and then fireworks are at target.
And then the next Saturday is the first. No,
July
2 Saturdays
further,
after. Yeah,
further.
What is that? The 9th? What is it?
10th.
10th.
July 10th is the first farmers market of the year, and I'm excited, and I think it's gonna be good. I'm going to send out a mass email today to my vendors, so be watching.
Oh, speaking of farmers market, so as we made
You're going to be there.
I'm definitely going to be there with Storytime Coffee. We made our trip back from the East Coast, and we were going. We lived in the Boot Heel for 6 years, so we wanted watermelon and peaches from the Boot Heel because it's just the best.
Yeah.
So we pulled up to the stand; they had it all laying out there. There's nobody, so we're in this dilemma: can we just leave cash? And we decided we
must have these.
We really wanted it.
Yeah.
It was
like some sort of
we had to stare
operation.
at it. It's not like we couldn't find a stand. We found a stand, and nobody there.
Hey, huge event coming up this Sunday. The Chain Gang Tailgate.
Oh, yes.
Sunday night.
Yeah.
Sunday
the 28th.
night.
That came up quick.
Chain Gang Tailgate this Sunday.
And that's here at Jamestown, right?
No. It's Finley Collective.
That's
right.
Finley Collective.
Apple Market Shopping Center.
And I'm going to be running the grill, I think.
Cool.
So,
Nice.
cooking hamburgers, hot dogs. I don't think we were doing anything fancy, but.
Are you bringing the Blackstone?
I don't
doing the griddle stuff.
I don't know. I'm still waiting to hear. I asked John last night. I'm like, what do I need to bring? And he's like, I'll talk to Ryan and get back to you. So
we need to. I need to figure out how.
That's going to be fun, y'all. So
that's going to be cool.
Come on out Sunday night. Finley Collective,
4 or 5 o'clock. I don't know when
tailgate,
to start.
Or afternoon,
and then they're doing the
maybe
show
6
live after.
Yeah,
doing a live show.
How
after
cool is that? You
That's
guys can
cool.
be a part of the Chain Gang show. Those guys are doing great things for our student athletes and the
Very good.
community as a whole. So be a part of that.
Finley Collective is I guess it's my competitor, which is fine. That's good. We need more competition.
Are they?
Yeah, because they have an event space, but it's good
They're
because
like an art studio too.
It's like she's a photographer, and
That's
so
what
they
I
have
think of
the
her as being
photography
as a-
studio, but they also do the event space, and then they have some art and stuff in there, which I think it's great because frankly, at Heritage Post, a lot of people call and I'm like, it's already booked.
Yeah.
So that tells me right there we need another place similar to Heritage Post.
Well,
in town.
it's good for me because, I mean, since we bought Jamestown Plaza, they used to rent out the Honor Company.
Yeah.
And we're not really an event center.
That option doesn't.
Yeah.
It's not available.
It's available.
But
We're not really running an event center.
I think it's great because I've got a place that I can tell people like, hey, if we're not available, because sometimes the fire stations are free rooms, but they don't accommodate very big parties.
Right, it's small.
And they're not always available either. And so, but yeah, in the springtime, I have several phone calls where I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm already booked because that's my peak time. So I think it's great. It's good.
All right, we need to shut this thing down.
All right.
Yep.
I gotta work.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go work at the Wildcat.
All right,
Closet.
thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
On the Waffle.
Bye-bye.
Bye.